Welcome to Pilates. Hello everyone, second class online. Today we're going to be using tension bands. I have a material band. I'm going to use a light tension band today, but you can choose whatever type works best for you. And then we're also going to be using a yoga block. So hopefully you have some of these things at home. You can kind of get makeshifty with the block and the band, but as we progress through the series, it might be something that you want to invest in because you're going to see props kind of showing up here and there. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is just to place your band on the floor and grab your block. So hopefully my head stays in the camera angle. I tried to go as wide as I could today. I'd like you to place your block on the floor. This is my left foot. So I'm going to place my left foot on the block and my right foot is on the floor. So what I'm going to ask us to do is pushing pressure in through your left heel. I just want you to elevate up off the floor and just kind of hover there for a sec. So we want you to try and keep your head, belly button, and hips in line. This is a class that we just did in studio this week, and the girls really liked it. So I thought, hey, why not bring it online? From this point, trying to keep that left leg as straight as you can. I want you to hinge your hip down to the floor on the right side and then press back up through the left heel, elevating the right hip. So we're going to hinge down, slowly lowering to the floor, and then slowly press back up. Just so you're getting a little bit of an elevation as you elevate and a little bit of a stretch as you come back down to the floor. Things you say while you're recording and wish you wouldn't have said. Elevate to elevate. There we go. So we're just getting some nice movement in the back, in the pelvis on this one. So we inhale up and then exhale down. And let's go for one last one. Pushing deep into that yoga block and then just come back down to touch the floor. Perfect. We're just going to scoot that block over a little bit more to the right side. We're going to place our right foot onto the block. So again, driving pressure through your right heel. We're going to try and float up as stable as we can. So again, trying to stay as upright as we can as well, so we're not deviating too much over and off onto one hip. I know it's tough though. One of the girls looked at me when I was coaching and she said, you're not completely stable either. I could have taken that down an avenue, but I think she meant on the block and not in my head. So I was like, absolutely, I'm struggling along with you guys here. Stability as I age is something that I can feel is a challenge for me. We're going to inhale as we exhale, allow that left heel to come to the floor, and then pushing up through the right hip to elevate back up. You got her. So yeah, so as my body ages, I definitely feel certain things starting to kind of get a little bit more challenging, a little bit quicker. And stability, I find, is one thing that I would like to practice more of too. So I thought this was a great move. I also had a bit of a back blowout last week. So I really like this move to help me, along with my chiro and physiotherapist, just to keep me moving throughout the week. So I was able to still do the classes with you guys. So thank God we have a good team. So let's go for just one last one. So the hips coming up and then dropping back down. And then we're just going to take the block and meet you on the mat. Okay, so what I told the girls in class was, this is my left foot. And I actually told them, this is my left foot. This is my right foot. I'm going to go through the right foot first, even though it's the left foot we're going to be putting on the block to elevate for stretch. So you can either keep your right leg straight and extended, or if you want, you can take your right heel and just kind of punch it in right to your groin. So what we're doing with the left is the block's going to go right front, and then you're going to pick up your left foot and just place it on the block so it's comfortable. So I have kind of my ankle and kind of outer shin area on the block. I want you to sit up nice and tall to begin with. So if we were looking in this direction, again, as best we can, because I know this seated position can be a little bit challenging for people, especially with the elevation. I want you to try and pull your spine as straight as you can. And as we inhale, exhale, then we're going to bring the chin into chest, and let's just do a nice forward fold. So the hands are in the front portion, the lower back getting a stretch, the hip of the left leg a little bit elevated. I just want you to be mindful of your knee, right? Both knees, but especially the left one, just because we are putting pressure downward and the foot is up. So making sure that that pressure feels okay onto the knees. So it's an inhale to exhale like it always is. And as we exhale, trying to fold a little further forward, but definitely supported with our hands. So again, with those exhales, trying to come down a little bit closer to the floor. You can walk your hands further forward as well. And as we inhale, exhale, pressing back up. And again, still using, roll those shoulders back, that inhale and exhale to start to bridge our rib cage. Okay, so it's the same thing. My right foot's going to be elevated, as is yours. You can choose what position to put your left foot in. Again, I'm going to tuck mine into my groin. Block comes front forward and foot onto block. So we're going to prop ourselves up nice and tall so our shoulders and hips are facing forward, but now we can tuck our chins in our chests and allow our body to forward fold. So our chests are coming deep in towards that ankle. If the block at any time doesn't feel great as well, you can always just take it off and you can just do this exercise on the floor as well. I just heard myself get very loud. Hopefully that didn't bust your eardrums. You got her. So I did have a playlist today. Inhale, exhale. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a nice quiet class. And we're just going to walk through some of these moves together. Exhale, pressing up, shoulders roll back. So again, you guys can choose some background music if you want. I think I'm just going to stay quiet in the studio today and just go through this class with you. That's kind of where I'm feeling today. So that's what we'll do together if you don't mind. I'm going to let you know that the warm-up is a bit of a biggie. So we're going to start with some roll downs and peel ups just to get our spine warmed up. So I want you to land your heels hip or shoulder distance apart, and we can peek those toes up. I'm going to choose this angle to start out with because as we inhale, I really want you to straighten out your spine, driving your chest front forward. And with that exhale, that's where we scoop and roll down one piece of our spine at a time, and then bring it back up, pushing that low back into the floor. So we're going to inhale to exhale. And as soon as we tap to floor and we're ready to take that breath in, then we're going to pull up tall again. You got her. So let's continue with that. So working your breathing, again, I want you to focus on getting that rib cage nice and tight, right? Bridging those ribs together. And as we lay down, just to make sure that your ribs aren't pulling apart on that lay down, we really want a full exhale right at the base, keeping that tension as we inhale, pull up nice and tall, and we'll do about 3 more. Again, don't follow me as your coach. Follow yourself as a participant. Follow yourself with your own breath work. I'm going to move my block out of the way as I do a couple more with you guys at home. So on the next one, team, I'd love if you could just stay down on the floor. I do need you to have your yoga block, though. We're going to grab our yoga blocks, and then we're going to do 6 different series, okay? The first series has us placing our yoga block in between our knees. And again, I'm going to show you in this direction because there's lots of options, and in class, there were lots of things modified with the width of the block. You can go wide if you're comfortable with that. You can also go height up, so it's a little bit narrow, and then if you want, you can just pinch it in nice and close. So you can choose out of those 3. I'm going to meet you on the floor, taking a wide stance with my block, pushing my shoulders into floor. Again, making sure that your core is strong, even if you want to touch it. Inhale, exhale. We're going to slowly pull those legs into tabletop. So I just want you to stay here for 1 sec. Again, this is it's a lot of a bigger class than that first class was. We're going to get through the brunt of it. The in-house classes are about an hour, so I'll try and condense it down. I'm actually at this point while recording, not sure how long this class is going to be, so let's get at it. So again, I want you to push your palms deep to ground, and as you're ready to exhale, start to bring 2 toes to the floor. And then when you're ready to take your breath in, slowly bringing your feet back to tabletop, and repeat that pattern. So it's a it's kind of nice to not always have music, just because sometimes it's nice for you at home too to really focus in on your breath. I mean, if you find it calming to hear your own breath, some people, it's just not where they're at. It could be even a comfort level with some people right now where it's just really uncomfortable to hear that. But if you're in the privacy of your own home, I would encourage you maybe to get a little uncomfortable if you are and just hear those exhales and inhales. And I'm just going to ask you for one last one. And then you girls can come on up. You guys can come on up, either staying in tabletop or if you want a bit of a stretch, take the block out and then just bring your knees to chest. Okay, so you're going to learn as we continue on with this. It's optional. If you don't feel you need a stretch right now, you can just always stay in work position too. So our knees are over our hips and our shoulders down to floor again. The next move is challenging. I want you to inhale. As you exhale, I want you to straighten your legs out and away from your body. And when you're ready to inhale, let's pull back in. Okay, so some folks are going to be able to come down nice and low, right? Fully extending those legs. Some folks might just want to do one leg extending, right? We can do that as well. Some folks may just want to stay in tabletop. Some folks kind of may meet in the middle where they can extend both legs but not go down as low. You just have to really make sure that that lower back is committed into your mat on this one. It is a very big start on this. So again, relax your shoulders. Make sure you're not looking backwards behind you or down in towards your chest. It's just a nice neutral gaze up to whatever your ceiling looks like. We got some white drop tiles happening over here in our studio. One last one, pushing palms deep to ground. And when you come back on your next full extension of your legs, knees over hips, and I think we all want to cross our ankles and pull our knees into chest. You got her. And remember, those stretches are deep. We're pulling those knees right deep in just to get a little bit of length in that low back. One last one with head down. So let's place the block back in between, okay, shoulders to floor. This one's just a hamstring stretch. So we're going to exhale, straighten those legs right up to ceiling. And when we're ready to inhale, let's pull it back to 90. So we're going to... And this one is really a stretch, trying to get the legs as straight as possible and then trying to straighten them even just a little bit more. If you want to place your hands on your quads, as the legs come up to the ceiling, you should feel your muscles flex, right? It's just such an important cue in class for me. I love seeing the long, clean lines. I love seeing the muscle in the leg contract. I love people touching the muscle and, being proud of what you have. And I also want you to go for full ranges of motion in these extensions. So that's why you're going to hear all the time, full extension, contract the quads, and you can bring it back down, cross the ankles, remove the block for a little bit of a stretch if you choose. Okay, so now we're going to move on. We're going to repeat those three, but we're going to bring it into an elevated head. If you guys ever feel like you're getting a clacking or popping, maybe in your SI joint or your hips, it might be because your block's too wide, so you might have to narrow it, especially on the leg extension. So just be mindful of that. Okay, let's load it back, center knee. Inhale, exhale, head, neck, and shoulders. Bring it up for 2 toes tap down. Now you're going to start to feel it, right? Especially in that upper abdominal. So as we exhale, just moving my mic belt a little bit, right? Those little extras that we have as a coach. I want you to try and get your core up nice and tall. Right on. You can see my phone is at my toes because I really did have intentions of playing music. I trust you guys. You can rock out, you can zen out, whatever you like. I do have a question though. Are you actually compressing your block right now? So that's another thing, right? When we have this block, mimics the ball or the ring where we're working those inner thighs, trying to deep compress as we get our core up. If you're next tired, hands behind head. And let's do that just one more time. When you come back, definitely head to floor, whether you want to stay and work or cross the ankles and again pull the knees to chest just to get that back rolling. You can also 1 foot, 2 feet and do a little windshield wiper. This thing works wonders for that low back. When you're ready, we're going to load back up. Inhale, exhale, head, neck, and shoulders up, compressing the block, trying to keep those feet in front of the knees as we exhale to leg extension. You got her. And I will continue to say this, that these leg extensions are much more feeling like they feel safer when that torso's up off the mat. We're really able to kind of push that lumbar curve deep to floor, and we get that nice little contraction, right? Like a mini sit-up, so our core is really engaged. I'm going to bring it back to compressing the block in between, fully extending the legs to pop those quads, and again, being mindful of the neck. And if you need your hands behind your head, let's put them there. Hopefully you can feel a little bit of core starting to work right now. Thanks so much for all the feedback and comments on the programs. Let's bring head down, cross the ankles, and give a stretch. You got her. So yeah, I mean, looking to hopefully get 3 classes out a week on the platform if possible, loading that back, at least 1 spin, 1 strength, and 1 Pilates. So fingers crossed. Inhale, exhale, head, neck, and shoulders up for full extension of those hamstring curls, and then bring it back down. You got her. So again, just keeping those knees over the hips and bringing the torso up as high as you can. I can feel my upper core starting to burn now. Again, we always say when things start to get a little caliente, right, in this, sometimes we start to rush our movement. So I just want you to stay slow and controlled. I know it might be a little bit uncomfortable on your core right now. If it's uncomfortable on your neck or lower back, adjust down, head to floor, feet to floor. But if it's that core that's grabbing your attention right now, try and stick with it. I know. One last one. Full extension to exhale. Keep it calm. Bring those knees to chest and rest your head. You guys did awesome. Right on. Okay, let's continue. You guys ready to go? Perfect. Okay, dokes. So I'm going to ask you to, yet again, put that block in between your knees. You can do the same thing if you want to go narrow, middle, or wide. We're going to go into bridge position. So wherever your feet are, they should be at or around hip distance apart. I just want you to squeeze that block, okay? And I just want you to push that low back in, coming up into high bridge. And then as you exhale, just roll back down. You got her. So right now, any of the girls that did the class with me this week in studio are like, hey, we didn't do that in class. You girls know me by now. I am not one to repeat classes. Push that low back in. Bring it up. But since this is virtual, I figured, okay, we can do it once more. But we need to put a couple Easter eggs in this for the girls, right, that have already done it with me. You got her. So pushing that low back in, squeezing that block, just a little extra inner thigh work before we hit the band. So one last one. Push that low back in, bring it up. And then on the next one, please just stay up for a second. So again, if you feel too far from your heels, let's walk our shoulders in, pushing through our glutes, our hamstrings, right through big toe, little toe, heel, that triangle, hands to floor. And I just want you to start to squeeze into that block. Okay, so our hips are level. Remember what we talk about, hands to hip. And you're just putting some deep but tiny compression. So tiny because the distance is short. It is a solid object, right? Although I hope none of you are snapping the block right now. We got to just be easy on your props, girls. So we're going to squeeze it. And we're just going to go for about 5 more. So just those really small compressions. So last one. Keep the deep compression. And then let's just pulse up with our hips coming to the ceiling. You got her. So just a little bit of extra here. A little glute. A little hamstring. Rear shoulders deep to ground. Give me 6 more. Couple more. We're going to stop. Roll it down. Get that low back. Oh, so good. Take the block out and cross your ankles and pull to chest. Awesome. So you can either recovery roll off to the side, or if you're good with your back, pop it up. Maybe grab a little bit of water. Let me move my silly phone out of the camera angle because we don't need that. But we do need is our bands. So I've got some bubbly water today in my sippy cup just to make things that much more excitable. We're going to place the bands in between our knees and our hips. Okay, so if you do have multiple bands at home, what I had the girls do in class was bring your heels apart and just do some kind of like feathering or butterflying motion. and just test out the resistance on the band. So you're trying to pull from your hips. If your band's too heavy, you're going to know right away because you're not getting very good range of motion. And if you're just kind of like, this isn't bringing me any sort of joy, it might be too light and you might want to level up. Okay? Just that little tidbit just to make sure that you've chosen the right tension. We're going to inhale up. And as we exhale again, we're going to roll back down one vertebrae at a time, coming onto the mat and just placing our hips and heels deep to floor. I'm going to ask you to inhale. As you exhale, girls, can you just kind of roll up for me? And then as you exhale, just roll back down so everything's feeling okay. So we're going to press. You got her. And then just roll back down. So again, I love high heel no bridge. I don't know about you, but I think it's really important too, just to keep the hip and pelvis being able to come forward and then roll back. A lot of the women that start with this, the class here in the studio, they have a lot of hard time trying to get that lower back into the floor, especially when we roll down to the ground. So I love doing it in class. I think it feels good, and I think there's value added. Stay up on this position. Perfect. Do you feel like you want to walk a bit closer? Or are you too far from your heels? Okay, so I'm going to start with my left foot just because it's closer to the camera. Now, your choice on this one is you can either bring that left foot into what we call high heel, so your heel's off the ground. If you want something a little bit more advanced, you can inhale, exhale, and just pull it up to tabletop. Now, I just want you to stay in that position for a sec. Push your hands deep to floor. Now, you got to go talk to your right booty cheek right now and ask that as well as your hamstring to lift you up just a little bit higher. Just make sure that your lower back can handle the height. Almost there. You're doing awesome. 3, 2, you're going to place the left foot back to floor, whether it was high heel or in tabletop. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. So you're not going to be able to see it as well, but the left foot you're going to be able to see staying on the floor. The right foot into high heel. You can see my knee peek up a little bit higher, or bring it right up into a tabletop. So again, you want to ground those rear shoulders, push your palms deep, and then now we're talking to the left side to lift and try and keep that height. I want you to make sure that your neck feels okay with the elevations on here, and again, that your back feels okay as well. Inhale to exhale. Just drop that right foot down. Do a bit of a recalibration. Okay. Number 2. We're not here for very long. Stay with me. You're doing great. We're going to place the hands back down. We're going to inhale, exhale. Left foot, high heel or tabletop. Now this time we're going to push our hips up to the ceiling as we exhale in either or position. You ready? Slow and controlled. 8 to go. Push through your heel on that right side. You're almost there. We're going to stop. Inhale, exhale, placing the left foot down. Make sure you still have tension in that band. Placing the hands to floor, left foot on ground, right foot, high heel, tabletop. What are you guys thinking? So we're halfway again, connecting to the glute and the hamstring. If you touched it, you can probably feel it is contracted. 3 more. We're going to inhale, exhale, drop that foot down. Inhale, exhale, roll your spines down. Keep your bands on, cross your ankles, and pull your knees into chest. So a little bit of a back stretch. And now we're going to move into some core. Okay, so our bands are still on. We're going to come into tabletop, right, head to floor and hands to ground. Okie dokes. Now, this next part is important. And I'm going to stay in this angle. And you guys call me out on this if I do this incorrectly, okay? I can handle it. We're going to inhale, exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come up. Now, why I'm staying at this angle is I'm going to ask you to, with your hands behind your head, extend your right leg outward and peel up towards your left knee. You're going to inhale, coming back to center, bringing that right leg back. Keeping the right leg in tabletop, you have to peel up, bringing your left elbow to your right knee as the left leg extends. Okay? So the big thing on this is we want to make sure that our tabletop doesn't move and that it's our rotation that meets the elbow to the knee versus the knee to the elbow, like a bicycle move. We don't want that. You guys ready? We're going to inhale, exhale. We're going to rotate full extension right leg, right elbow, left knee. Inhale, center. Opposite, full leg extension left, left elbow, right knee. All right, let's try it. Go to your breath pattern. So as we're doing this, people at home, we want to make sure that our hips are staying level, okay? Another way that you can understand that is I want you to make sure that your booty cheeks are both staying equally planted on the ground, okay? So again, we're trying to keep that tabletop leg in tabletop while focusing on extending and flexing the opposite leg. I know it's a lot. While focusing on rotating our torso, that's where you're going to start to get that burn to make connection to the tabletop leg. So now it's starting to get warm, right? Again, make sure that your lower back feels safe. If you have to, take a moment, cross the ankles, head to floor, stretch the back. But I do want you to stay slow and controlled, trying to keep your body up as tall as you can. I know, you're doing awesome. It should be tough, okay? That's the thing. It should be tough. It should be tough. We're going to go for a couple more on each side. So it's a... You got her. And that's the thing. Like, if you still have air on that extension, hold the extension. Hold the extension and continue to exhale out. Give me one last one. One last one. Right there. Bring it back to center. Cross the ankles and head to floor. I can feel a little bit of the resonating from the classes that we did earlier in the week. So it's a great little series. My core is a little bit tender still. So that just means that, wow, I'm so much more aware that this shit's working. Bang on. Let's do some pulses. Coming back up to tabletop, we're going to inhale, exhale, head, neck, and shoulders up. This is my left leg that's closest to you guys at home. Can you exhale, extending your right leg out? Hold it there if possible. Hands to head. 16 pulse, elbow to knee. You ready? Inhale to exhale. Bring it forward. You ready? Exhale, left leg. Left elbow, right knee. 16 pulse. Let's go. Inhale to exhale, cross the ankles, and head to floor. So good. You guys did awesome. So hopefully you felt a little bit of burn on there. We're going to move on from the core work for now, and I'm going to flip you over, and we're going to do a little bit of lateral. So you can keep your bands on. Either do a recovery roll up, or if you want, a ball roll front forward. Okay. Grab some water, and I'm just going to remind you of some positions that you can use at home. Bubbly brings me joy. Okay, stay there for now. So, we can do the high prop position, right, with our elbow underneath our shoulder. The thing that we don't want is slouching. We want to pull up nice and straight. So this makes it a little bit challenging sometimes because the head, sternum, and pubic bone, right, straight line, hard to hold the big brain. You can always wrap your hand around. If that's not your jam for today, that's cool. Right, we can go here. Let me move my belt bike. Sorry. My mic belt. I'm changing consonants on words today. It's one of those Saturdays. Picking up your middle waist, right? So you can see a little trench there. And some people like to extend the arms straight. Just make sure your neck feels healthy. Okay, I'm done talking. Bring your knees in front of your hips. Pull up your middle waist. And let's start with some low clam. So we're going to hinge at the heels, opening up, and then slowly coming back down. So we're going to inhale, open. We're going to exhale as the leg comes up. I said inhale, open, and I heard myself, and I was like, nope. And then inhale, bring it back down. So we're going to push with our breath and our power. So on this, we want to make sure that our hips are stacked, okay, and that they're not moving back and forth. And the big thing is we can't lose that middle waist, because as soon as the waist sinks, you lose your core. right? And it's core to extremity, not vice versa. So you got to keep that core strong. One last one, and then we're going to close the knees. We're going to pull the heels high, make sure the waist is still elevated and the hips are level, and bring it into high clam. Okay? So as we try and be consistent in your openings and closings. So don't just kind of like ram through either or, right? Like you're trying to use momentum to like get the band up. Don't do that stuff. Just really kind of milk it out. I know it gets tough as you open up wider because that tension really starts to build in that band, but that's what we're here for. Yes, no, that's what you're here for. No, that's what you're here for. Okay, next question. Yes, one last one. You got her. We're going to shut the knees down. We're going to drop the heels. Extend the legs slightly front forward so you have some balance. Make sure your neck is relaxed. Can you just pull that top leg up, please? And as high as you can. Middle waist. Are you engaged? Perfect. We're going to bring the toe front forward. We're going to inhale as it crosses over to exhale to the back. We're going to inhale. Exhale comes as it crosses over to the front. So there's 2 breaths. You got her. So it's an inhale to exhale as it goes front to back. Now, a lot of the errors that we saw in class, as the leg was moving, the body would heave forward and it would heave backwards. Okay, so we're going to clean that up. So everything needs to stay strong, long, and engaged. You got her. Middle waist up. And then we're cascading that leg. And it has 2 breaths for the movement. Okay, so you're arching over and back. So each half of that arch has an inhale to an exhale. One last one. Hips are stacked. Hips starting to warm up a little bit. Do not drop the leg. Bring it back to center. Pick up your middle waist. Okay? We're going to start leg circles by going upward to inhale to exhale. Don't start your leg circles by going down. Bring them up through the tension. Stop. Pull the leg up. Reverse direction, 16. We're going to stop, drop, bend the knees, take your fist, and whack your own ass. Oh my God. That is tight. Ouch. You can take that however you want. Okay, so you ready? We're going to flip over, change directions, and do the exact same thing. So it's very low volume on the movements because of this little gem, right? We can do more in less time. I love it. High prop, middle waist up, bent elbow, head in hand, extended arm, middle waist up, low clam, knees in front of hips. We're going to inhale, open, and exhale, shut her down. You ready to go? Perfect. Okay, so as we get started in low clam, this is where we focus on the little details, because when we start lifting our heels up, things can start to get imbalanced in the hips, right? You might fall backwards. And then once we start to get into that extended leg series, right, with the arching and the leg circles, things are just atrocious. They're just burning. So that's when I really start to see form breaks, because you're firing off on so many other levels. So let's just focus on these kind of first or entry level moves. Close the knees, pull the heels up, middle waist, hips are stacked, high clam. Okay, now you should start to feel that glute, that hip, right on. So the thing about high clam, we want to make sure again that your hips are stacked. This is the middle waist, so you got to really pull hard to push the hip, push kind of like the upper, outer, middle, back area, the lat, the scap, however that kind of resonates with you. And then again, relaxing your head into your hand if you are in the same position I am. And if you are on high prop, maybe scooping your hand around. Give me one last one. Hips are starting to warm up now. You got her. We're going to close down the knees on the next one. Right. Drop the feet, extend them, pull that leg up. We're going to bring it front forward and then back. I am like not even on my back. This is just such how I am as a person. I'm like not even, I have 2 mats and I'm off them on a diagonal. Like, yes. Inhale, front forward, exhale, back. You got her. So now we're starting to build a little bit of pressure and tension. If you put your hand on your booty cheek, can you feel, where that little pull-in part is, right where the hip bone is, and then you feel all that muscle along your glutes starting to activate? So good. So 2 movements, right? You got her. Back and front, 2 breaths on each. Pull up that middle waist. Give me one last one. Is my eye watering because of the pain? Quite possibly. Bring it to center stack. We start our leg circles by pulling up. So stabilizing the body. I know it burns. 5 more. Pick up the middle waist. Stop. Reverse it. Halfway. You're almost there. You're so close. Let her go. 4 more. Stop. Drop. Oh my Lord. Even tough to bend it at some points. You got her. So putting a little bit of whack attack on that glute muscle. That burns. Okay, let's sit up and through. My eye. God bless. Take the bands off. Take some water. Let's continue. I don't even know how long I've been training you for right now. And you know what? It doesn't matter because this series has to go in, okay? Some of the things may be negotiable, not this one. I'm going to let you guys know a lot of the girls who did this in class really struggled with their wrists. This is my left knee going on top of this block. You absolutely have the option to bring your elbows down. You can even bring one hand forward and elevate on the other arm. That helps, but you're still using a wrist. You can bring it up. You can knuckle. Okay, so there's lots of options. Feel free to travel back and forth. Because we're elevated, the head down on this one might get a little bit of uncomfortableness, right? Just because the blood flow is coming to your head. I just want you to be mindful of your wrists. I'm going to go in this direction right now so you can see my knees. I'm pushing deep into that left block as I inhale, bringing my left hip up to the ceiling. And as I exhale, the right knee just gently taps the floor. So we inhale up. So again, just another hip, pelvis, low back movement. Really small movement. I like it too. Right, the left hip is staying stable right now on that block, and the right hip is going down and then coming back up. And I'm just going to ask you for a couple more. And while you people do that at home, I'm going to change my angle so you can understand what the leg movements are. All right, on that last one, hover your right knee above, right, so it's not touching. Soft bend in your elbows as you exhale to kick your leg back. And then inhale, just bring that knee back from to where you started. So as your leg kicks back, we want to end up tucking our tailbone underneath our pubic bone. A lot of the time you see people aiming so high up, they're thinking it's getting a better contraction in the glute, but what it's happening is that the lower back's taking a lot of brunt as the belly falls to floor. So again, the core needs to stay engaged, and that's because we're doing, this is Pilates, right? So this is Pilates. The core needs to stay engaged. The lumbar needs to stay neutral. And then we find that contraction with the extension. From there, I'll ask you to stop. And then as you exhale, curl your heel directly into your glute. And then inhale, extend. Again, tucking that tailbone around and through. So at this point, I really want you to push deep in towards the block on your left knee. I want you to keep trying to minimize the curve in your lower back, tucking that tailbone as that leg fully extends. And I really want you to keep the word contraction in your brain right now. So you're contracting your glute, contracting your hamstring as the heel comes in, contracting your quad as your leg extends out, continuing to self-right. And you're going to see me doing that as well as I self-right, making sure that lower back stays as flat as I possibly can. I don't want any pressure and tension in that low back. I want it in my hamstrings and in my glutes. On the next one, can you just stay at a 90 degree, right? So your heel is over your knee, and just start with some pulses up to ceiling. Halfway. Stop. We're going to bring the knee down without touching the floor. Fire hydrants, inhale, open, and then exhale, shut her down. So again, pushing knees deep into that yoga block. Maybe feeling that left hip at this point because it's working as a stabilizer. And just hinging that right leg up and down. We're going to go for 4 more. I want you to pay attention to your wrists. And on that fire hydrant, I do want you to keep your legs running, side by each. So trying to track that right knee directly out from that left knee. One last one. As we inhale, bring it down. Coming off that block. Take the block, bring it front forward, toes together, knees apart. And you can just kind of shift, moving the wrists around a little bit if you want. So again, it can get a little bit uncomfortable in the wrists. We're going to push up. You can take a little bit of a shake if you want, right? But again, sometimes things are uncomfortable because you're not using them anymore. So, it's about going into these positions and seeing how long you can last in them before you have to modify out, but we still want to be building strength and endurance in these areas as well. So my right foot is on the block. Okay, I'm going to give you this angle as we inhale up and then exhale, shut her back down. So it's kind of fun to be able to have these mats running, right? If I actually stay on them, which is another debatable, but so the hip is elevating up. And then it's just slowly lowering back down. So while you're doing this as well, you're being mindful of your hand positions. Are you putting equal pressure on the right and the left? Just give me a couple more, okay? When we're done, the next 2, we're going to just keep that left knee floating above the floor. So just float it above, right? So it's not touching. Tuck your tailbone and just extend to contract. And then bring it back in. So as the leg kicks out, we're making sure to almost scoop the tailbone slightly. You're going to feel a different contraction in your glute. We're still focusing on a long line with that leg. And again, just matching your breath. And that exhale, you should feel strong all the way through your core, all the way through your leg. Let's do one last one. Stay extended, tuck the tailbone, draw the heel in as you exhale, hamstring curl, inhale, leg extension. So again, you don't have to get big height on that leg. I just want you to try and keep your hips level on the left and right side. Keep your gaze down towards the mat so your spine is neutral. And again, you're trying to draw your heel in as close as you can to the glute. Trying to get a nice deep contraction. You're going to, again, see me self-righting as well, right? All those little cues that we're working on together, making sure that things are staying safe. On this last one, girls, if you can, and guys, keep your foot at 90. Pulse. stop. Inhale, knee down to cascade. Open her up, and then shut her back down. Okay, so where are you pushing right now? You should be pushing into your right knee. That's the block. The blocks are nice because they're a little bit softer too, on the knees. You're pushing into both hands. Chances are you're pushing a little bit heavier into one than the other. Okay, so trying to equalize that off. Pay attention to your wrists. And let's go for a couple more. My right booty cheek is on fire right now. Just trying to keep everything level so I'm not dipping or driving where I shouldn't be. One last one. Drop it down to the floor. The left knee goes. Knees apart. Toes together. And again, just hitting a nice relaxed pose here. Okay, when you're ready, come on up. Okie dokes. Now, the girls that did the class with me would be highly disappointed if I didn't include the next three things. So, those of you at home, well, you can blame me because I wrote it, but you got to blame them bitches too, because they would be like, how come the online people didn't have to do what we did? The online people are going to do what she did, okay? Be mindful of your position. 100 series, bracket 3. We called it the bed mass 100 series. We're going to start with our basic 100 series where we're going to inhale up, exhale, roll it down, and meet me on the floor. So what I told the girls in studio, for those of you at home, gentlemen, women, right? Noah, I know you're doing this one with mom. We're going to go 1 foot, 2 feet into our tabletop. Now we know that we don't have to elevate and extend. We know that we could just stay in here, pushing air to floor, right? Inhale 5, exhale 5. We could do one leg and swap when I get to 50. You could do an elevation, keeping your knees slightly bent. I'm going to ask you to inhale though and exhale, choose your position, right? Relax your shoulders, arms parallel to floor. Let's get started. Inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 10, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 20, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 30, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 40, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, halfway inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 60, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 70, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 80, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 90, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, cross it, drop it, and roll it. Perfect. So again, taking some time for some deep stretching. Now, we have a couple pieces of equipment, yes? I'm going to ask you to grab the block first. If any of this doesn't feel well, get rid of the block. You can even stop your 100 series and go into stretching. But if you're feeling like you're ready to do this, you can put your block this way, or this way. You ready to roll? In between your knees, compression, rolling down. Inhale, exhale, tabletop. Inhale, exhale, elevate to extend or choose your poison. Inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 10, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 20, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 30, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 40, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, halfway inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 60, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 70, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 80, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 90, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, cross it, drop it, and stretch it again. Nice. So taking the time, do some stretches, because I'm going to chit-chat for about 30 seconds here talking about the band. So, the band, we're going to place it back to the area that we've had it all class, and that's between the knees and hips. When I cued this one in class, I asked people to not only focus on their 100 series positions where their shoulders are down, their arms are straight, and we're really pushing air, but also going for an extension. So we want to make sure when we're doing this that we're not just holding our feet, but we're opening up against the tension of the band. So the wider the better. You do you, boo, but that's my cue on this one, where we really want to hinge out at the hips, keeping our legs in whatever position you're going to choose, whether it's extended, bent, one on the one on the floor, one elevated. All of them are perfect because they're where you need to be, right? No injuries. Placing the feet down. This is the last working exercise. Then we do some stretching. We're going to inhale up, exhale, roll it down, bring it to tabletop. Inhale, exhale, elevate, split those bad boys open. 100 series. Inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 10, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 20, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 30, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, split it, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 50, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 60, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 70, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 80, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, 90, inhale 2, 5, exhale 2, cross it, drop it, and pull it into your chest. That's nice. Okay, take those bands off. We're going to use them for the greater good now. This is my left foot. My right foot's on the inside. You can keep your right knee bent or straight. We're going to loop that band over our left foot, shoulders down, and start a nice little stretch with it. Okay, so we're trying to keep the leg straight. With each exhale, we're trying to bring the leg in a little bit closer. So relax your shoulders and just use the band. I actually really like using the bands for stretching because it's got a little bit of give as well. So my leg's starting to vibrate a little bit. We're going to inhale, exhale, bringing the leg outward just slightly, and then pull inward again, kind of shifting the stretch in the hamstring on this one. So, shoulders down. If the leg is jumping, just let her jump. No biggie. Let him jump. Remember, don't just stay. It's not a hold. It's a stretch. So I really want you to try and get some mobility. I just need you to stay present a little bit longer. We're so almost done. You did amazing. We leveled it up from class 1, so hopefully you enjoyed it. As we inhale, exhale, crossing the leg over our center, trying to keep the booty cheek on the floor as much as we can, coming into a pull. Oh, everybody in class was like, yikes, this one's a different one, right? You're feeling it in here. I always get it in my outer calf on this one. But, obviously areas that my conventional stretching isn't reaching. I might want to take the roller to that one at some point. Inhale, exhale, come back to center, bend the knee, and let's do it on the other side. Now, I know there's limited time on these videos. It's on my right foot, nice and straight, pulling it in. If we don't give you enough time to stretch, continue after, right? You're already on the mat, so even if our program clicks off on YouTube, maybe take a little bit more time. If your low back is still stiff, right? Whatever you need. Inhale, exhale, bring it out, and then continue as you exhale to pull that in. We appreciate you watching the videos. We appreciate the comments. Those are super fun. We get to interact with people again. Kelly, Joe, Mandy in Australia is back, right? So many of you. Trish has been great. She's in studio but still doing some of these. Sarah, thank you so much. Inhale, exhale, cross it, and then pull it. I know we fitness in-house, we fitness on YouTube. We just really love it. I love coaching so much. I love doing the classes with you. I love coaching you through some stuff. And I just love that we're connecting and, keeping each other moving and accountable because, 24 hours doesn't seem like enough. Inhale, exhale, bring it back to center. We're going to bend our knees. And again, you can either ball roll up or recovery roll. Let's fix our toques and transition onto all fours. A little cat-cow as we tuck, roll, and stretch upward to the ceiling, and then our bellies dip down and gazing up and through. Tuck and roll. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Again, I think it's a good idea if you do invest in a few small props. It doesn't have to break the bank. I know that things are, things can get expensive, all the other stuff we're doing, but if you do really enjoy Pilates and you do enjoy this program, I don't want you to miss out. You can find some bands, some blocks, tension bands, maybe a roller, even borrow one from a friend, just so you can continue to kind of explore these moves with us in these classes. And it keeps it interesting. So remember, keep moving, keep supporting each other, right? I know it's not easy, especially online, to show up for something. I know those in-house experiences can be so much more magical, but I hope you enjoyed it. Lita, let me know what you think. We will sign off, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Thank you so much.